We begin with an update to breaking news that we first brought you at 6 last week. Police say a 17, 14, and 13-year-old have been arrested in the shooting death of a teenager.
17-year-old Jason Bennett was found shot on Baden Street at South Avenue shortly before 5 p.m. last Friday. The Lucas County coroner says he died from multiple gunshot wounds. His death has been ruled a homicide. That homicide is just one of many that police are investigating right now. 6 people have been killed and several others were injured from just Friday to yesterday.
And the victims' ages, they range from 17 to the late 30s. Here's what we know so far about the crimes and the victims.
By our standards, it was a violent weekend.
The string of violence started early Friday morning. Toledo Police tell us 35-year-old Marcus White was stabbed and killed on Plymouth Street. 25-year-old Paris Johnson was arrested and is now charged with murder. Later that same day, in a different part of town, 17-year-old Jason Bennett was shot and killed on Baden.
Then Saturday morning in East Toledo, 20-year-old Salvador Ruiz was shot and killed. He was found in a car near Platt and First Streets. About 3 miles away, 2 other shooting victims were found in a crashed car on Nevada Street. 20-year-old Amir Thomas Clare died. And Sunday morning in North Toledo, Christopher Bourne and Stefan Garrett were shot and killed outside Agenda Sports Bar and Grill on Matzinger Road.
Sadness, discouraging, it's heartbreaking.
Well, as you just heard, many of our city leaders are speaking out about the violence. We want to bring in Sophia Perricone and Megan Hartnett. Sophia has more on how our city council members are reacting.
And then Megan will check in with her. She spoke with the assistant police chief. We begin, though, with Sophia. Sophia, what are council members saying needs to change?
Well, Jeff, first, city council members I spoke to said they are angry and sad about what happened this past weekend. They said people need to be held accountable and more resources need to be poured into different neighborhoods across our city. Councilwoman Vanice Williams said her district, which includes parts of Central, Downtown, and North Toledo, saw major crime spikes back in 2020. She said to fight that, she ensured resources were going into those neighborhoods. She said that helped, so investment could be the key to combating crime. Meanwhile, at-large Councilwoman Sir Sandra McPherson says people need to be held accountable, from parents when it comes to their kids to young adults who may feel angry or violent.
We have to invest, and which is what we done. We had a big one-time $180 million invested in the city. We have to keep on moving on that path. And I know we have a political environment right now that is not conducive to federal investment, but we can be creative on our own. So we have to invest in our communities ourselves.
You've got to target this, I would say, 15 to 35 age group. They need resources now. They need to have those hard conversations, and they need to know that they'll be held accountable. Because if we don't start targeting them, as we teach our 3-year-olds to our 15-year-olds, because we don't want this next generation to come up and repeat. We got to break the cycle.
Now, Mayor Wade Kapsakavich released a statement over the weekend saying the city is grieving and that officers are working around the clock to solve these cases. You can find that full statement on our website. Now, we tried speaking with Mayor Kapsakavich today. The city said they're standing by their statement and denied further comment. We also tried to speak to the mayor at an event he was supposed to show up to, but he ended up not attending, so we couldn't speak to him there either. But our Megan Hartnett did speak with leaders over at TPD. Megan, what did Toledo Police have to say about all of this?
Sophia, Toledo Police say holiday weekends tend to bring a spike in activity, but this weekend stood out for all the wrong reasons. After a stretch of unexpected violence, officers say working with the community now is more critical than ever.
A weekend like the weekend we've had and the homicides that we've had this weekend is unexplainable. I wish that I could sit here and tell you it happened because of this. That's just not the case.
Assistant Chief Kevin Braun says the department prepares for holiday weekends, having more staff throughout the city prepared to respond. But this was an unexpectedly violent one for officers.
They were tested this weekend.
And looking back, Braun doesn't think there is anything the department could have changed when responding.
I don't know what it could have been that we could have done differently. Our primary focus now is to obviously respond, investigate, and put the people responsible for these things in jail.
Braun says the cases do not seem to be related at this time. He says officers and detectives are continuing to investigate, but they need the public's support.
We need their cooperation. The reality is that when these things happen, people know who's responsible. People witness these things. And as a community, we need to say that this is not acceptable.
Braun says the department has a community services section. There are school resource officers, officers on foot patrol, officers on bikes, officers at community meetings, but there's still room for the community connection to grow.
I don't think we're ever going to stop trying to build our relationship with the community.
Braun says there will be elevated patrols in the coming weeks, but he hopes that won't always be needed.
We're hoping and praying that this past weekend is kind of just a one-off, and this isn't a trend that continues for the rest of the summer.
Braun says the department is getting help from the Ohio State Highway Patrol throughout the city. He also says that the department uses data to see where crime tends to spike this time of year so that they can send more units to those areas. I asked him where those areas are, and he says that's something he's not able to share. Reporting in East Toledo, Megan Hartnett, WTOL 11.
Team coverage for you there tonight, Sophia. Megan, thank you. We are learning more about the person who was found shot in South Toledo yesterday. According to Toledo Police, 59-year-old Anthony Brown was found in a home with gunshot wounds to the chest. Police arrived at the home in the 300 block of Sumner just before 2 in the afternoon. Investigators say they are working with the coroner's office to determine whether or not the fatal shot was self-inflicted.
Now, those calls for help don't go unanswered. The ones picking up the phone when you call 911 called this weekend emotionally draining. Toledo Fire and Rescue responded to 485 EMS runs and 67 fire-related emergencies. 911 dispatchers say the back-to-back calls puts an emotional weight on them and all first responders, especially with a weekend like this one. Greg Bonfiglio, who does the dispatch mapping for Lucas County, says more than 1,000 calls came in Friday and Saturday.
I want them to understand that we are humans and that we do care about this city. We care about this job, and we care of doing a great job for the city and be there to protect.
You know, every day is a different day. You know, we have different things that happen. It's the nature of the beast. It's what we do. You never know what you're walking into, and we just you do the best you can every single day.
To try and prevent burnout, Lucas County has built-in resources, spaces, and programs to support their team's mental health. Toledo Fire and Rescue urges families impacted and first responders to reach out and connect with support and resources in Toledo and urge everyone to help one another. You can count on us to bring you any new updates on air and online. You can read the latest on these crimes on our website, WTOL.com, right now.